Na ciana handa thaa 10 mathama matemo maitu ma muthenya wa umuthi kakunyita ogeni mohoro-ini maitu na ngagucokeria ngatho ni undu wa gucagura ceceni ya Inooro TV ni njitagwo Jabi wa Njau. Tukiambiriria ni ati mubunge wa Sirisia John Waluke ni amukirite igutha cira-ini wa kugunika na mubango wa ungumania bodi-ini ya irio nyumu thutha wa igoti nene gukindira itua ria kumagathikira kioho kia miaka 67 kana faini ya ciringi bilioni 1. Mucirithania Esther Maina augete mwena wa thitango wa handire cira murumu na mucirithania wa igoti ria ungumania riria riagathikire iherithia riri ndagarire ihoto cia Waluke. Riu Waluke no ahandire itua riri igoti-ini ria gucokia cira riko no angiage kwambiriria gutungata kiho giake undu uria ungicungiriria kurwo ni giturwa giake. Kabuni ya Safaricom ni yambiriirie motungata mayo bururi-ini wa Ethiopia riri yetereire President William Ruto na Prime Minister wa Ethiopia Abiy Ahmed mahumbiriire igongona ria kuruguria mihango ya kabuni ino bururi-ini uyu. President William Ruto ni arikitie gukinya bururi-ini wa Ethiopia thutha wa kuoha thabari ino ruci-ini rwa umuthi. President augeirwo horo ni afithaa a gikiro kia iguru thirikari ni matongoretio ni munini wake Rigathi Gachagua akiambiriria thabari ino. Ikundi itiganite cia gutetera ihoto cia muingi makiria iria ikonainie na urimi ni irakaritio ni itua ria thirikari ria gwitikiria wendia na ukuria wa mimera ya GMO. Ikundi cirauga thirikari ndina kuruhania muingi na gutire itumi iraheanirio cia gwitikiria ukuria uyu uria warugamirio miaka 10 mihituku.
Thirikari yake gukorwo ri participatory, mundu ungikorwo na ciuria, mundu ungikorwo na yenda ni ari consultaga. Na leo uria tukoretwo tukiona decision ino ikimikwo tutinona jiko kana na hasaras magituika consulted iguru lift ban ino kere the composition ya National Biosafety Authority ona tula expected ni gukorwo na arugamiriri kana ni gukorwo igiconsult arimi edia na andu othe mari thini wa stakeholders aria mari na maundu macio mara affect ni uhoro wa GMOs. Riu ndikithia witu ni ati reke decisions ta ici kimikwo andu othe magakorwo stakeholders consult National Biosafety Authority igika maundu mayo ona ikahota consult stakeholders niguo ithuothe tuthie turi hamwe tuthondeke Kenya ino itu.
Urugamiriri wa Google gitaro-ini kia Africa ugete ati thiomi cia guku bururi-ini cire no hoti wa gutonyio rurenda-ini no nginya akenya metikire gucihuthira kaingi riria mari nenda-ini. Murugamiriri wa ruhonge rwa kinyaniria wa muingi gitaro-ini kia Africa Chris Murito augete ati ruthiomi rwa Gikuyu ruri naro anahuthiri aingi nenda-ini guku bururi-ini na riruo rungikorwo na mieke miarie ya gutugirio uhuthiri-ini wa mitambo ya ukinyaniria.
Kenya already ni ajitie kukorwo na benefit ya voice typing support. Githweri was actually rugere ya bere yari kuma Africa gukorwo na voice support. Koguo ni twajitie tene na uria nguthaitha agikuya aria mekuo ni ati wira uyu ufatairio gukorwo ni gukorwo tugiteithania na tutingihota gukorwo tukihota gutwara voice support ya Gikuyu tariu ni njue kau nikio kiuria kiria urenda kunjuria Gikuyu yakorwo kina voice support ri ni uria ingi muthaithanie muje gukorwo mukirecord maundu na Gikuyu nigetha machine learning ihote gukorwo ikitranslate na create guthondeka ability eyo ya gukorwo ati andu ni mekuhota gutwara Gikuyu kiu into voice support, right? Tondu tutangikorwo twina rurere rwitu runene machine nigetha machine iyo ikorwo ikithomithia tutingihota gukinya handu haria tugakorwo tugitwara voice support ya Gikuyu.
Aremi akahua gĩcigo-inĩ kĩa ũmbunge gĩa Kabuchai nĩ marũrũnganĩte makĩenda mongererwo mbeca cia magetha mao. Mũmbunge wa Kabuchai Majimbo Kalasinga augĩte nĩ egũtigĩrĩra kĩrĩro kĩa aremi aya nĩ gĩetherwo kĩhonia gĩa gũtũũra.
Nataka niseme ukweli. Hao wakulima wako na taabu, wamenyanyaswa kwa njia mingi kwa sababu ya pesa zao za kupotea. Na tumetembea kwa ofisi kuchunguza hizi pesa vile zilienda. Sisi tulifanya demonstration tarehe 19. Na wakakwambia mkuje hapa kwa tisio mchukue barua ya mkutano kule na Kayonjo. Kufika kwa tisio kwa ofisi wanakupea barua inasema mkulima mmoja kwa kila area.
Sisi wa mama ndio huwa tunaumia sana kufuna kahawa. Na saa hizi vile tunaongea hivi watoto wetu wako nyumbani. Hatuna school fees. Sasa hii mheshimiwa tunaomba hivi. Management yenye iko ndani itolewe. Saa hizi wakulima tumeanza kupeleka kahawa yetu. Hatuna imani na hawa.
Na next week inaenda bunge. Your statement iko natoa. Mimi hulipwa mshahara kwa sababu ya nyinyi. Mimi huitwa mtetezi. Sasa leo hapa sitaki mtu akuwe na wasi lolote. Kwa sababu kitu ya kwanza ambayo kinaniumiza ni kwamba wale wanaodai haki yao ndio wakwenda kufungwa.
Maafitha borithi ya ceceni ya Ole Kasasi Rongai kaunti-inĩ ya Kajiado nĩ mahithũkĩtie katoni 20 cia njohi itarĩ njĩtĩkĩrie. Mũnini wa komishona Kajiado ya irathĩro Patrick Mwangi augĩte nĩ macinĩte njohi ĩno na rĩu marethana na mwene ũrĩa ũretharire.
Mungu wetu mwenye neema kuu.
Thutha wa gũkunyĩrwo nĩ mũingĩ, borithi ceceni-inĩ ya Ole Kasasi nĩ mabithũkĩtie katoni 20 cia njohi itarĩ njĩtĩkĩrie na makamĩcina, makiuga ĩrathiũrũrũkagio nĩ mũndũ ũmwe ũrĩa ũretharire hĩndĩ ya mũngũrũrio ũyũ.
Sababu tumeweza kuzinasa kwa wakati ufaao. Kile tu nitahimiza wananchi ni kwamba tuwe masho. Tumekuwa hapa na vijana wetu ambao wanafanya kazi ya bodaboda, chairman wao wako hapa na wale vijana wake.
Abithaa ya maugĩte kuona njohi ĩno nĩ ngananie ĩrĩ na ũhoti wa kũthũkia mĩtũrĩre ya aingĩ na makĩria andũ ethĩ.
Naweza kufanya watu wakuwe blind, na hata naweza fanya vifo za watu ambaye ni kwa youth ambao wanatumia pombe sana, na ndio watu ambao tunategemea maisha yetu ijayo.
Munini wa komishona Kajiado ya Rugongo augĩte nĩ mongereire namba ya maobithaa a borithi arĩa marabĩtana na endia ma njohi ngananie na mĩtugo ĩngĩ ĩtarĩ mĩtĩkĩrie.
Tumepangana vile tutakavyokabiliana na hali yote ya ukosefu wa usalama eneo letu, ikiwa ni kuwepo kwa mihadarati, bangi, pombe haramu na zile maovu zingine zote zilizo kwa jamii. Tumekubaliana kwamba kila mtu ashike usukani, kila mtu afute kamba pande yake, na haswa wale wazee machairman wetu wa community policing na nyumba 10 tushirikiane na wao kwa karibu sana, ndio taarifa zozote zile zinazoendelea kukubana na raia ziweze kujulikana kwa wakati ufaao.
Gũkĩrĩ ũguo mũingĩ nĩ ũrĩtio ũrutagio ũhoro wĩgiĩ wendia wa njohi ici na mĩbango ya kũmĩbithũkia ĩbũthabũthe. Ngĩribotera Inooro TV, njĩtagwo Masi Wadia wa Mũrĩithi.
Na ndagĩka ĩno ndĩramenyithia atĩ nĩ hĩndĩ speaker wa bunge ya bũrũri ũgwĩtwo Moses Wetangula aratuithania hihi nĩ mwahũ ũrĩkũ wa ũteti wĩna atongoria aingĩ thĩinĩ wa bunge. Mwandĩki witũ wa mohoro ũgwĩtwo Werũ Nyambura mwena ũcio wa bunge cikaro-inĩ cia bunge gũkũ mwena wa Nairobi. Tũthiĩ na njĩra ya ĩmwe kwa ĩmwe nginya bunge nĩgetha tumenye ũrĩa kũrathiĩ na mbere.
The Honorable Silvanus Osoro also tabled letters relating to the matter as a result of the minutes of the parliamentary group meeting and a list of attendees of the meeting during which the party leaders were elected. Similarly, honorable members, the Honorable Opio Wandai tabled a copy of a letter dated 7th September 2022 from the Registrar of Political Parties addressed to the Clerk of the National Assembly conveying what the registrar termed as constituent parties of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party, the Kenya Kwanza Alliance, the name of one party which was not affiliated to any coalition, and an indication of parties that had filed constitutional petitions and objections on their membership of the Azimio coalition. Honourable members, while contributing to the debate, the Honourable Junet Mohammed also tabled what he claimed to be the coalition agreement entered into between the constituent parties of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party. Several other members also weighed in on the matter, including the Honourable Member for Garissa Town, Adan Duale, nominated member, the Honourable John Badi, the member for Ugenya, the Honourable David Cheng, the member for Tiati, the Honourable William Kamket, the member for Kimilili, the Honourable Baraza, the member for Kadhiani, the Honourable Robert Mbui, the member for Inakoi, the Honourable Samuel Chepkonga, the member for Embakasi East, the Honourable Babu Ino, the member for Kiharu, the Honourable Ndi Nyoro, nominated member, the Honourable Sabina Chek, the member for Kibwezi West, the Honourable Mwengi Mutuse, the member for Mandera North, the Honourable Bashir Abdullahi, the member for Laikipia North, the Honourable Sarah Korere, the member for Ganze, the Honourable Kenneth Kazungu Charo, the member for Alego Songa, the Honourable Samuel Atandi. Other Honourable members who spoke on the matter include the member for Tinderet, the Honourable Julius Meli, the member for Kilifi North, the Honourable Owen Bayer, the member for Kabondo Katpul, the Honourable Eva Obara, the member for Kungundo, the Honourable Fabian Muli, the member for Dagoretti South, the Honourable John Kiarie, the member for Embakasi South, the Honourable Julius Mawade, the member for Kinini, the Honourable Bisao Kakai, the member for Emaya, the Honourable Omboko Milemba, the member for Taraka, the Honourable George Murugara, the member for Dagoretti North, the Honourable Beatrice Elachi, and at the conclusion of the debate, I reserved my considered ruling for today. There are many other members who came up on the point of order. I need not mention them. On the onset, honourable members, permit me to amplify a portion of the contribution made by the Honourable John Badi, in which is key to the resolution of this matter. The Hansard records the Honourable Badi as having said that there is no contention over which members constitute the leadership of both the Kenya Kwanza Coalition and the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition. The only contention that exists and which formed the basis of the debate which ensued is over which of the two is the majority. Honourable members, Article 108 of the Constitution establishes the offices of party leaders in Parliament and outlines the order of precedence to be observed in the National Assembly. The article provides as follows: there shall be a leader of the majority party and a leader of the minority party. The leader of the majority party shall be the person who is the leader in the National Assembly of the largest party or a coalition of parties. The leader of the minority party shall be the person who is the leader of the National Assembly of the second largest party or a coalition of parties. The following order of precedence shall be observed in the National Assembly. That is sub-article 4 of 108. The Speaker of the National Assembly, the leader of the majority party, and the leader of the minority party. Honourable members, what is clear from the Constitution is that the leader of the majority party must lead either a party or a coalition of parties in the National Assembly. I invite the House to note my emphasis on the word either. Honourable members, Article 92 of the Constitution mandates Parliament to enact legislation on various aspects of political parties. To this end, the Political Parties Act 2011 was enacted. This law has been amended severally, including as late as February this year. Honourable members, you will note that Section 2 of the Political Parties Act 2011 defines a political party as an association of citizens with an identifiable ideology or program that is constituted for the purpose of influencing public policy or nominating candidates to contest elections. The term is further defined to include a coalition political party. Under the same section, a coalition is defined as an alliance of two or more political parties formed for the purpose of pursuing a common goal and is governed by a written agreement deposited with the registrar. On the other hand, honorable members, a coalition political party is defined as a coalition that is registered by the registrar as a political party. Interestingly, Section 10(1) of the Act allows two or more political parties to form a coalition or a coalition political party before or after an election on condition that they deposit a coalition agreement with the registrar. Honorable members, what I discern from these definitions of Section 10(1) of the Act is that Parliament, in its wisdom, legislated as follows: that two or more political parties may form a coalition or a coalition party and deposit a written agreement with the registrar. Further, that a coalition of two or more parties may register itself as a political party with the registrar under the Act. You will agree with me that this legislation creates a unique and puzzling scenario where a coalition, which is a conglomeration of parties, can also be treated as a political party on its own right. Honorable members, I note that in the letter that I received from the member for Suna East, the Honorable Junaid Mohammed, on this matter, he submitted names of leaders representing the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party. Curiously, in the same letter, the honorable member signed off as Secretary General of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition. This begs the question of whether Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition is a coalition, political party, or both. In the debate over this matter, several members argued that a coalition political party is a perfectly legal vehicle that was used in the just concluded election to allow individual and corporate membership within a coalition. In my understanding of Section 2 and Section 10 of the Political Parties Act, Parliament permitted a coalition political party to elect to assume the character of either a party or a coalition. Honorable members, in the last general election, it is evident that Azimio la Umoja One Kenya elected to behave as several political parties in certain categories of elections, and as one political party with regard to the election of the president. It is without doubt that if it were to be considered as a political party, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party has no elected member in this House today, as no member was elected under its banner. This is easily discernible from Gazette Notices number 9950 and 9951 of 2022, both dated 23rd August 2022, and Gazette Notices number 10535 of 2022, dated 5th September 2022, in which the IEBC, the Independent Electoral and Boundary Commission, declare the persons duly elected as members of this House and their respective political parties. Further, honorable members, it is notable that with respect to the members nominated to this House, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition political party elected to nominate members under the names of its constituent parties. This can be seen from the Gazette Notice number 10537 of 2022, dated 7 September 2022, and Gazette Notice number 10710 of 2022, dated 9 September 2022. The Azimio la Umoja Kenya coalition party seems to have elected to enter this House in both elective and nominated positions through its individual constituent parties. It is a clear demonstration of the coalition party's respect for freedom of association under Article 36 of the Constitution, which exercise of political rights under Article 38 of the Constitution, and the freedom of speech and debate in the House under Article 117 of the Constitution. Honourable members, Article 108 of the Constitution also allows a coalition to elect and designate their choice of the leader of the majority party. The claim by the Kenya Kwanza coalition is based on this limb. Similarly, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition political party has staked its claim to the leadership of the majority party in exercise of its second skin as a coalition. Honourable members, what is clear from the Constitution is that the leader of the majority party must lead either a party or a coalition of parties in the National Assembly, and not both. Indeed, I noted earlier in this communication, in determining the matter confronting the House today, one must ask the question whether the entities claiming the leadership of the majority party are parties or coalitions. The provision of the Constitution seems not to envisage the position of the leader of the majority party being claimed by an entity that is both a party and a coalition of parties. It is apparent that, honourable members, while the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition political party elected to behave as a political party in certain categories of elections in the last election, it has now staked its claim to the leadership of the majority party in this House, using its second skin as a coalition. The issue that arises at this stage is whether this conduct is in conformity with the expectation of Article 108 of the Constitution, which requires an entity to elect one of the two choices. You will recall that before the Sindie adjournment of the 12th Parliament, the standing orders were amended to insert a new standing order 2B. This provision requires the Clerk of the National Assembly to obtain a certified copy of any coalition agreement entered into between two or more political parties. This amendment was requested by that arose at the beginning of the 12th Parliament on the entitlement of the constituent parties of the then National Super Alliance Coalition, commonly referred to as NASA Coalition, to a share in the membership of the Parliamentary Service Commission. It was not possible for the then Speaker to resolve the issue without access to and perusal of the then NASA Coalition agreement deposited with the Registrar. Apart from resolving any disputes related to the membership of the Parliamentary Service Commission, it will interest members to note that pursuant to Article 2152 of the Constitution, part of the membership of the Commission on Revenue Allocation is also drawn from nominees of the majority party and the minority parties in the House. This is the basis upon which the standing order was introduced in the last Parliament, so as to enable the Speaker to discern the undertakings made by the parties with regard to the positions available to the House. The sharing of nominees for appointment to commissions such as the Parliamentary Service Commission and the Commission on Revenue Allocation, entitlement to positions in the East African Legislative Assembly, and where necessary, determining the relative majorities in the House. Journals of the House indicate that this provision was hardly intended to be used to resolve questions of which party or coalition parties have sufficient numbers in this House so as to be entitled to elect the leader of the majority party. Honourable members, the Political Parties Act provides a general framework for the formation of coalitions, but leaves the substantive provisions to the formulation of the respective parties' coalition. Where the substantive provisions of a coalition agreement are unclear, ambiguous, or are in contention, the interpretation of the intent of the parties is left to the general jurisdiction of the legal system. Nevertheless, honorable members, perusal of an agreement entered between the partners in a coalition would greatly assist resolve or forestall unnecessary disputes likely to impede the conduct of the business of the House. Indeed, upon obtaining a copy of the NASA coalition agreement, my immediate predecessor did urge that the provision of the coalition agreements to the House should become standard practice. This is what informed the introduction of new Standing Order 2B in our rules of procedure. Honorable members, with regard to the coalition agreements affecting the affairs of the 13th Parliament, the clerk did write to the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties on 2nd September 2022. In her letter, entitled Request for Information and Copies of Coalition Agreements pursuant to the National Assembly Standing Order 2B, the clerk provided the registrar with a list of parties with representation in the House at the time. The clerk sought the following from the registrar, and I quote, guidance on which particular political parties from the list above are in coalition arrangements. Please include the date of the registration of the coalitions. 2. Information on changes made to any of the coalition agreements or partnerships that are in place and the dates of the changes, if any. And 3. Certified copies of the coalition arrangements entered into by any of the parties listed within. Honorable members, in response, the registrar noted that at 21st April 2022, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party comprised 26 political parties, namely Jubilee Party, JP, Orange Democratic Movement, ODM, Wiper Democratic Movement, WDM, Kenya African National Union, KANU, National Rainbow Coalition, NAC, National Rainbow Coalition Kenya, NAC Kenya, Muungano Party, Maendeleo Chap Party, Democratic Action Party, DAP-K, Devolution Empowerment Party, United Party of Independent Alliance, United Democratic Movement, UDM, United Progressive Alliance, UPA, Pamoja African Alliance, PAA or PA, Kenya Union Party, KUP, United Democratic Party, UDP, Movement for Democracy and Growth, MDG, Kenya Reform Party, KRP, Chama cha Uzalendo, CCU, National Liberal Party, NP, People's Trust Party, PTP, Ubuntu People's Forum, UPS, Party of National Unity, PNU, Labour Party of Kenya, LPK, and the Party for Growth and Prosperity. In the same letter, according to the registrar, the Kenya Kwanza Alliance comprises 15 political parties, with the United Democratic Alliance, UDA, Amani Congress, National Congress, ANC, Forum for Restoration of Democracy Kenya, Ford Kenya, Chama cha Kazi, Communist Party of Kenya, CPK, Service Party, TSP, Tuchibebe wa Kenya Party, Farmers Party, Devolution Party of Kenya, Economic Freedom Party, and the Umoja na Maendeleo Party as members of the coalition as of 3rd June 2022. Can the members take their seats? Honorable members, the letter further notes that the Democratic Party, National Agenda Party of Kenya, the Grand Dream Development Party, and Chama cha Mashinani effectively became members of the coalition on 5th September 2022. The registrar also observed that the National Ordinary People Empowerment Union NOPEU is not a member of any of the coalitions. Honorable members, in the letter, the registrar also conveys that Maendeleo Chapter Party, Pamoja African Alliance Party, PA, United Democratic Movement, UDM, and Movement for Democracy and Growth, MDG, have filed constitutional petitions and objections with regard to their membership of Azimio coalition. It is notable that despite the written request by the Clerk of the National Assembly, the registrar did not convey certified copies of any pre-election or post-election coalition agreement entered into by the parties with the representation in this House in the response to the letter dated 7 September 2022. May I at this juncture, honorable members, report to the House that surprisingly, the registrar today morning at 8:30 a.m. submitted to me through the Office of Clerk documents said to be the certified copies of the coalition agreements for the Kenya Kwanza Alliance Coalition and the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party. Curiously, whereas the registrar's letter to the clerk of the National Assembly is dated 3rd October 2022, the accompanying agreements bear a certification of the following day, which is 4th October 2022. The letter and documents were delivered to the Office of the Clerk today, the 6th October 2022, more than 6 weeks after the request by the clerk. Seemingly, this may be read by any reasonable person to be a reaction to the proceedings of the House on Tuesday, 4th October 2022. Nevertheless, I have had occasion to peruse the documents accompanying the letter as against the document tabled in the House on Tuesday this week. Despite attempting to advise the House on the status of the coalition agreements affecting the composition of the House as at 3rd October 2022, the registrar has again failed to mention the existence of any post-election coalition agreements. This is a glaring omission when viewed against the post-election coalition agreements tabled by the member for Kikuyu constituency during the proceedings. The post-election coalition agreements are critical to the Speaker for purposes of guaranteeing the constitutional rights and political freedoms of the members of this House elected under UDM, PA, MCCP,